We're gonna take 3 sniffs in the nose, 6 sniffs out of the nose.
Okay.
So it's 6 sniffs out. Take a deep breath in, hold your breath, and breathe out. Hmm. Hey, Roger, when was the last time you've been home for the holidays?
1999. No, not. I'm mistaken. 1998.
Okay, so you haven't been home, and home is Detroit or Inkster, Michigan, for almost
Yeah.
over 25 years.
Yeah.
Wow,
Almost 25 years going on. Yeah.
25
Going on.
years. Yeah. And how does that make you feel? Do you miss it or what?
Um. Yes and no. I don't miss the
Mm,
cold. Like
okay.
yourself, you live in LA, so you should know how it is. Most year round. You're in perpetual summer. You might have some days that are spring like, but for the most part, it's summer like in LA. Same thing here in Sicily. It's usually summer year round. So yeah, I don't miss the cold. In fact, that's one of the main reasons why I try not going back home during the Christmas holidays as a teacher, as a professor. I'm usually unable to be able to. I'm usually unable to get so much free time, and I think that saying it's so costly to go back just for a couple of weeks or a week or so. Um, just to stay with family. And also like I said before, I don't like the cold. Born in the cold, but, that's our mom's tropical blood in us. That kind of like, okay, bro, stay away from the cold, bro. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, if I want to do a couple of days of cold, I might do a little ski week, or saying a couple of days and go skiing in the Swiss Alps or the Italian Alps. But that's it.
Mhm.
Saying apart from that, I like the 60-degree, 70-degree weather. But from another point of view, I think that the holidays is that time when you're supposed to spend when you should be spending time with those that you love, those that you care about, and that does become quite burdensome at times. When you don't get the chance to spend your holidays with those that you love, those that you care about.
Mhm. Yeah, but you have your girl and your daughter there, so that's a blessing. Yeah.
Well, yeah, well, that's always a blessing. Yeah, but the thing is, like, also I would say this, that I think that the holiday period, unfortunately, um, is full of I would say contradictions. I won't say that I won't say things that are hypocritical, but I think that it's full of contradictions or things that are oxymoronic. What do I mean by that? I mean that the holidays is when you spend it's that period where you spend time with friends and family, and you don't feel alone, but sometimes you also feel alone because of those people who are no longer there with you. And I think that kind of becomes a bit burdensome, at times. At least I'm speaking for myself. Being so far away from all of my family and friends, my family and friends in particular that I grew up with. Um, you kind of like expect it that to spend time with them, but at the same time, you're kind of used to it. Saying you've grown accustomed to not being around them. But that doesn't mean that it's something that you don't want. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
it's kind of like that Christmas present. Like you don't really want a you don't really need a Christmas present, but you kind of like a little bit expect it. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, and especially with you because you have your birthday the day before Christmas on Christmas Eve. So, you're like, bro, if you're gonna give me a Christmas present, so if you give me a present, at least give me something. You know what I'm saying? You can't skip out on me and give me nothing. You know what I'm saying? At least give me a Christmas present or a birthday present and say, say that it's both together. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Christmas is full of, oxymorons, things that are not hypocritical, but things that contrast themselves. Like, for example, so many people, they convey and they project, they exude this, this happiness, this, um, how can I say, foreboding, um, generosity, but in reality, how many people are really generous, saying the other 355, 56, 57 days of the year, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I mean, I guess you could say that in the end, I'm not angry at it because, if, humanity, overall, if we're, saying we're so stuck on being, egotistical, at least there's a period where we can be, saying, how can I say, generous or happy, even if it's not really real, what I'm saying? So it's one of those type of things, I think that a lot of people are false in this period, but it's better. I prefer people to be false and project false happiness than to be their typical, ironic, cynical, pessimistic selves, So, because a lot of times if you see a person in the street, what I'm saying, and you smile at them, even if you're not feeling very happy, you smile at them, they feel, I'm not gonna say it's happy, but they don't feel as sad as they should. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it is. It's kind of like what I remember Dave Chappelle once said. Have you ever met someone and and they changed your mood? Like, yo, you feeling mad? Like, yo, man, fuck life. And then someone's like, hey, how you doing? Like, I'm fine. How are you? You
Yeah.
know. And even if it's not real, what I'm saying, but it kind of does bring out something. I mean, it doesn't. It might bring out something that's false, but at least it doesn't bring out negativity, So I guess you could
Hmm.
say I kind of appreciate the holidays because of the fact that it does show some, let's say, niceties, some formalities, some nice things going on with humanity. But sometimes I think it's false, And I don't know. I'm always at odds against myself, Like, what is it? What I'm saying, are the people being false, but they're pretending to be happy, or are they really? Do they genuinely feel happy during this period? Because I can't say that I really feel happy during this period. I really miss you guys. I really miss, saying
Oh,
my
okay.
family, friends, So
Hmm.
I mean, and I might smile, I might say, I might be happy, I might, I might
Hmm.
smile and pretend to be happy, But that doesn't mean that I am. What I'm saying, because I don't want to, be the rain on people's parade. So sorry for that long response.
Okay, no, I mean, it's just interesting, but do you think like the whole build up for Christmas and everything like that can be, like you said, burdensome to those people who don't really have friends or family and stuff like that, and are kind of alone, and maybe they do have friends and family in another state or another country, but they don't have any friends or family in their proximity. You think that could be
What
burdensome for them?
I'm quite sure. I mean, I'm quite sure that's even burdensome for those who do have people, nearby.
Hmm.
It can be burdensome because they feel kind of like a necessity and obligation to try to, maintain a particular Christmas spirit or holiday spirit, And even if they don't feel that way, sometimes because, for me personally, being a teacher, saying working in the educational field, I kind of use like these couple of weeks, to kind of recharge my batteries before, I hit, January running, hit the ground running in January, So, um, but yeah, sometimes you might feel like, okay, well, I have a lot of people, saying that depend on my, saying my well being around, because unfortunately, sometimes our well being we think should be about us feeling comfortable, feeling relaxed, etc. But sometimes our well being depends on other people feeling or receiving us as being in a good position, and we're not always in a good position, And that happens, saying it happens year round, but it really comes up, I think, in the holiday periods, Easter, Christmas, what have you, especially when we're talking about the Western world, if we're talking about the Muslim world, we're talking about the Ramadan area or period, and I have a lot of Muslim friends who also, in that period, they sometimes, they find some type of cohesion with other people who feel the same way as they do. But at some time, or sometimes also, like I said, I have some Muslim friends who actually, they feel more lonely because they like, they're like, when I was in my home country, when I was with my family, with my friends, say I felt more with people, you know what I'm saying? So this is a period where we should be feeling, you know what I'm saying, closer to people that we know, you know, closer connection. But sometimes it's when we feel most alone, you know?
Okay. Well, and do you think maybe that's because, of, like you said, people, maybe even people that have kids and have family nearby, maybe that it's the responsibility or the expectation to get like the certain gift or whatnot can make a person feel isolated. Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily, but I think, yeah, but I think that how can I say, that ideal of expectation
Hmm.
can have an effect on the person. And like I said again, remember, this is one of the things that you always tell me about. One that you talk to me about. One of the things that everyone talks about. You know, saying on paper, in theory, you know, your happiness depends on how you view things. You know, but you know, a lot of people might think that, yeah, okay, blah blah blah, but they really do depend on if other people appreciate their presence and their presence. You know, so you know, you know, I can't be, you know, what I'm saying, I can't lie to you. I can say that, you know, if I give my daughter, you know, saying a crap present for for Christmas, you know, I might not, you know, I can't say that I'm not going to feel a certain way, you know, because I will. I'm like, damn, I kind of wanted to impress her, you know, saying I kind of want to outdo myself compared to last year. Dang,
Hmm.
I didn't do it this year, you know what I'm saying? I kind of let her down, but in the end, you know, she might even be let down temporarily, but
Hmm.
because of the fact, you know what I'm saying, at that moment, you know what I'm saying, maybe she might have been expecting, you know what I'm saying, a new port pair of Jordan fives or tens. I'm not sure. I'm not. You know, I'm not into the Jordan game, but I couldn't tell you. Or PlayStation 5 or Xbox. You know, whatever. You know, One XS or whatever the most recent version is. You know, and you kind of say, "Wow, damn, I didn't really get that person what they really wanted." You know,
Hmm.
um, maybe. Maybe I, you know, saying maybe I disappointed that person. You know, saying I deluded that person, and you know, and it becomes, you know, saying becomes cyclical. You know, saying it becomes one of those things where you're like, okay, I didn't get them what they wanted. Are they happy? So they're not happy. You know, this is a period where, you know, saying where stereotypically, societally speaking, I should be doing, you know, saying the best that I can, but I didn't do the best I can this time, even though I thought I did. You know,
Hmm.
and I think that, you know, like I said again, this is a period where, you know, expectations have the most weight. Let's say that. Okay,
Hmm.
right? Family expects you to, you know, to be present. Family expects you to wear that happy face, you know. But we're not always happy, like I told you before. Sometimes we purport that happy face. We portray the happy face. We convey the happy face, even that's not what we're feeling, you know. And sometimes we get the happy face back, and that sometimes that might help us, you know. That might help make us feel happier, you know. But to what point, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's all false, and if it's all false, what, you know, what foundation are you building that, you know, that pseudo happiness on, you know?
So it's like a false, it's like being it's false positivity.
Exactly, exactly. Right. I'm not again, like I said, I return back to what I said before. I want to reiterate what I said before. That I think that I prefer people being pseudo happy than always assholes. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Obviously, you want people to be real with you, you know, but sometimes, you know what I'm saying, the burdens of, you know what I'm saying, of how difficult, how much, how annoying, how irritating people can be is annoying, and it's very burdensome in itself, you know what I'm saying? So
Well, it's
yeah,
burdensome to be around a disagreeable person.
exactly, exactly, exactly. That doesn't mean that you don't want people that speak their mind, you know, but you don't, neither do you want a person who's always, you know, being polemic, or they're, you know, they're trying to say, oh yeah, they're always disagreeing with everything. Like, bro, really? Really? Stay the fuck home, man. Come on, bro. You know, so I mean, but you know, saying occasionally, you know, if you can find humanity, or the majority of humanity can be nice, even for one day, that's not bad, bro. You know what I'm saying? Even half
Yeah.
of them, or more than half of them, are false with their happiness. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
what's the problem with that? You know,
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean,
No.
but you know, but it's like you even, you know, you've been living away from home, even
Hmm.
though you're a bit closer than I am to, you know, to our hometown.
Hmm.
But you've been living away from home for longer than I have, you know. And how do you deal with it? I mean, oftentimes you go back home for the holidays, but not for all the holidays. So, but how do you live with, you know, what I'm saying, like,
Hmm.
I'm sure, like I said, if I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking maybe a couple of Christmases, a couple of birthdays, you didn't go back home, right? Especially during the
Yeah.
COVID period. So, and how did you feel? How did you feel? Being away from home, not only missing those people who were not physically here, like dad or like a friend or something like that, who may be locked up or being saying passed on to another side. How do you feel about not being around those people?
Well, yeah, it's definitely, I do have that nostalgia, no question about it. And I'm not going home this Christmas, but I will be
Okay,
traveling after Christmas. So that's always a good thing, hanging
okay,
out with friends who are like family.
okay.
And I always miss mom. I miss you and Rhodesia. But you and Rhodesia definitely have your own lives, and mom, she's kind of, mom is just being mom now. My mom, our mom went through a lot this year, so but she likes to stay in her. She doesn't like to get out of her comfort zone.
She's.
So
I was gonna say, yeah, she stays in her comfort zone. So yeah, she
yeah,
doesn't
so
like
but
to.
yeah, of course I miss everybody. It's all that, but in the same sense, it's interesting as when we were talking before about like when you kind of go on like I don't know if you want to call it a spiritual journey or whatnot. You kind of don't see the days and the weeks and time in the same way anymore. You just
Okay,
it's almost just a moment to moment experience. And you're right. It is my birthday this Sunday, and I don't even. It's not even really registering with me. It's my birthday this Sunday. I'm thinking about so many things I got to do. The
I forgot.
podcast.
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot about my birthday many years
I'm in,
too.
I'm in the verge of moving. I went to a holiday party this weekend. And that was a little bit rough, so I'm still like recovering. I'm recovering from the holiday party, and just like so it's just like I'm just in the moment of life, and,
Okay,
and
okay,
which I kind
okay,
of like that, and new
okay,
experiences, like yes, the past experience was great, but I'm always about new experiences and that new family, new friends, and whatnot. So and I think it does for me. It does sometimes can get a little lonely because I don't have any kids. I don't have a significant other. I think
okay,
that part kind of hits home sometimes for me. But in the same way, I feel like I'm free. I have other benefits in life that
okay,
that some people don't have. So instead of like focusing on what I don't have, just really be appreciative of what I do have, like that freedom and
okay.
willingness to travel, financial security, and a home and a roof over my head. So and my health. So I feel confident about that, and feel good about that. So yeah.
All right, well, can I ask you another question? So, like,
Mhm.
I completely see where you're coming from. Where you're saying the fact that it might not, there might be some aspects that you don't have, but there are some other aspects that you do have. It, what I'm saying now, what I was saying just actually a bit before, when I was saying that, even though I have a lot of things which I should be happy for, which I should be, feel blessed about. Do you think that a lot of people feel, saying they look at the cup half empty, the glass half empty, even if they have a glass three-quarters full? Like, because there are some
Yeah.
people, like you said before, who have absolutely nothing. They don't have a roof over their head because, unfortunately, in the period, in fact, and this is where I said, I kind of like the fact that people even show this false or pseudo
Mhm.
well-being or goodness or generosity. I noticed that a lot of people, not only in the past but even now, they even they're more willing to donate to the nearest panhandler, or saying buy a lunch or buy a turkey for saying underprivileged family, you know which they wouldn't do if it were saying the 3rd of March, for example.
Mhm.
So that's better than nothing. Even if their heart is not always there, at least it's there at least this one time. And that's why I said that's the good thing about humanity. It does show that we can be, saying generous. We can be, saying thoughtful sometimes. But do you think that those like myself,
Mhm.
I have no problems with with thinking that what maybe saying I'm complaining when I'm doing more complaining when I should be doing more, being more grateful. Obviously, we all should be grateful for what we have, but we should also, I think, in my opinion, I think one of my doctrines is we should never be content. Saying,
Mhm.
and be complacent with what we have. We should always strive to want more, not necessarily more tangible physical things, but want more from ourselves, want to be able to tap into something that tap into that inner tapestry of us, that's saying, if it's the soul, if it's our minds, that's saying that's more of us. And I think that sometimes we might get too caught up with what we don't have, like you said before, and when we should be grateful, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I realize how grateful I am, I might feel, saying everyone feels sadness and sufferance, you know what I'm saying, and the down times, and I'm nobody, like you're nobody, and no one else can say how much sufferance or how much loneliness or how much, how can I say, um, uncomfort another person feels, even if, saying what they feel or what they're going through is so called less than what we're going through. So my question is, do you think that, however, some people, we should all, in general, as a race, be more grateful for what we have, even those who have very little?
Well, I think ultimately whatever you focus on, you get more of in life. I don't know, that may sound a little bit hippy dippy, but if you focus on all the things that you're grateful for, and
Okay.
just from a very like common sense way, that then your whole life, the whole way you see life starts changing, and
Okay.
then you start striving for the things that you already have, and start making those things better in life, and you start getting similar things that are better for your life. But if you focus on
Okay.
everything that's bad in life, and not in some hashtag spiritual way,
Okay.
or laws of attraction way, but then your energy gets down. You start
Okay.
feeling low,
Okay.
and you put yourself in a rut. So
Okay.
for me, I always try to focus on positivity no matter
Mm-hmm.
what, but
Mm-hmm.
while still maintaining neutrality. Still like looking at both sides. I believe I'm always content. I'm always happy, and I'm always joyful. But I'm always striving. I'm always striving for more. I'm just always moving forward. So not
And,
maybe not trying to attain anything or grasp anything, but it's always moving forward. While being present. So it's like a dance. Yeah.
And do you think that could be sometimes contradictive or oxymoronic, or do you just think that that's part of, saying the part of the balance, saying the yin and the yang that's
What?
trying to work with each other, you know what I'm saying?
I think when you try to explain it to others, yes, it can sound a little bit oxymoronic. But I think
Okay.
when you live the dance, you become the dancer, and then that's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Now you become the dance. So
Yeah.
yeah. Then that's once you start becoming the dance, then that's it. When you're in the flow of life, I believe that you move effortlessly, and not saying that you don't have to put in a lot of work, that you don't have to put in a lot of effort and concentration and focus and whatnot. All those things are mandatory, but it becomes effortless. And that may sound oxymoronic on its face, but once you're really in the flow, it's not oxymoronic. And if you ask top
Okay.
athletes or people that are truly living their best lives, what being in the flow state is all about. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Because sometimes I think that I'm living in a flow state. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like my work's going well, my interpersonal relationships are going well. You know, but sometimes when we're alone, like we said, because sometimes, like especially in the
Mhm.
holiday periods, even when you're with people, sometimes you feel most alone. But sometimes when you're alone and you kind of thinking like, this flow state, is it something that's real, or am I, saying I'm fooling others to the point where I'm fooling myself also? When you arrive to that point, because I'm not gonna lie and say that I haven't. So I'm not gonna lie and say that. I've projected myself. I exuded myself as someone who's in the groove. Saying someone who's in that flow state. But at the same time, because also my mind is, I think most minds are the most, is our gift and our curse. What I'm saying. They're so intuitive. What I'm saying, they're able to help us in all times, even from those survival moments. But at the same time, it's the same thing that creates that self doubt in us. What I'm saying? So is it possible sometimes that saying that we might get to ourselves and we get that moment of aloneness where we're listening to our self thoughts, where we're listening to those voices, not those schizophrenic voices or multiple personality disorder voices, but those thought voices that we have, where we're thinking like, wow, people really, saying, they really enjoy me. I feel like I'm on top of my game, but am I really? What I'm saying? Um, and what do you get? What do you try to do in order to try to push that to the side, or do you accept it and say, "Oh, what you know what? That's part of me. Let's see how I can work this into what saying what's going on in my life now."
Okay, two things. First of all, we talked about this a little bit about the Shunya state,
Exactly.
and the second thing I heard this Djokovic, he was talking about it on 60 Minutes, and he said like he never tried to repress those feelings or those emotions.
Okay.
He
Accepted
lets
them.
it out and he accepts
Okay.
it. He lets it out because it's important for him to let those emotions go so he can move forward. But the thing
Okay.
is, not to dwell in those lower states is the
Okay.
key.
Okay.
So, like, yeah,
Okay.
you got to release that because I believe if you don't release that, if you don't release that, or if you don't accept the doubts that's going on or the worries that's going on like that, it kind of gets pushed out in your subconscious mind,
Yeah.
and
You
then it
definitely
comes
repress it. You definitely repress it. Yeah.
and then come back later to bite you even more.
Uh,
So
mm-hmm.
so if you just address it now,
Hmm.
process it, and then move forward, that's using our brain as a tool and not instead of being a
Yeah.
tool by
And,
our brain. And
and
that's
definitely, I would like to say, sorry for interrupting, but that's something that you and your buddy, your friend, talked about last week in the
yeah.
podcast, and about self awareness. I think that, yeah, and I agree with that completely. But I even think that we should even spend more time addressing those self doubts, because that
Mhm.
is part of us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the
And
self
why
doubt.
are we feeling that way? Why are we feeling that way? You know what I'm saying? And observe it. You know what I'm saying? Feel. You know what I'm saying? Accept it. Saying, yo, this is me. This is part of me. You know what I'm saying? I am yin and yang. You know what I'm saying? I
For
am.
sure.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not complete pure energy. You know what I'm saying? I can also be anti energy. Also, you know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
what's making me feel this way? How am I feeling that I feel this way? So yeah, and yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And I kind of feel what you're saying.
and that's what Shunya is about, is being able to process those thoughts, process those emotions,
Okay.
and not either don't get too excited and too low about anything, but just processing those emotions and taking it in as if you were a computer almost. I know it sounds a little bit drab, but
We are.
you take it, you just take the information in, you process it, and this is this and this is that, based on all the information that I have, but you can't let biases come into play. And
Okay.
when you process information, sometimes you can, like, have biases come into play when you do have when you receive certain information from yourself, such as doubt and whatnot, saying that, what, maybe I suck at this because you
Yeah.
sucked at something in the past, so that
Exactly.
bias your thought. But you can say, what, I do suck at this right now, but what can I do to get better? Because I did something
Okay.
else that was similar to this that did
Okay.
good. Or, say, and I think this, I always hear people say this, and I see it a lot on social media, like, where there's a lot of deflection and saying it's
Mhm.
always the other person. It's always the other person that's rejecting you or putting you down and
Okay.
stuff like that. When somebody rejects you and puts you down, that's always a moment to take a look at yourself. It's
Mhm.
not a moment like, oh, that person doesn't deserve me. When this is the quote you hear a lot. When you're vibrating too high, nobody's on your level anymore. It's
Well,
like,
that's the ideal of, what I'm saying. I think that's the ideal of, it's not important to
yeah,
win. It's not important winning. Winning is not the most important
yeah,
thing. Is participating. No, it's not.
yeah,
Winning is the most important. But that's something that maybe the losing team might say, or the winning
yeah.
team might say to the losing team. So yeah, like you said, yeah. Sometimes it is us. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it is us.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes, even some people maybe have malintentions when they do put you down or dish you or reject you or try to go after you. But maybe they have a kernel of truth in what they're doing, and you have to
Definitely.
take you have to take that information in, and at the same time not be let it don't let it don't take it so personally that it keeps you down. But like,
Okay.
whoop, this is it.
Okay.
I think the more and more we start taking ourselves as being so important, then we start connecting with something bigger. I
Okay.
don't know if that's
Okay. No,
God
no,
or
no.
whatever you want to call
So
it,
we
but
have to.
a lot of times we get stuck in the small me, like
Okay.
this little me. Now it's my birthday. It's about to be Christmas. Blase
Okay.
splee, instead of just being connected to saying, that's just all like the script that we've been given a long time ago.
Okay.
And so instead of just connecting and saying, just what can I do to be, like you say, to not be, I ain't gonna say not be content, but what can I do to evolve spiritually or whatever
Okay.
you want to call it, be more aware, and how can I help people and how can I serve people? And I think if you start getting into that mindset, then you transcend just, your body and all the other scripts that we have implanted in us.
Okay. So do you think in this transcendence, in this so-called transcendence, do you think that
Mhm.
one of the most important things is to not say that we are insignificant, but to see how little our significance is to the big picture? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think it's not about significance, not because I think when you live in a quantum universe, it's twofold, and
Okay.
even though it may sound oxymoronic, you're nothing, but you're everything at the same time.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay. Okay.
so
Okay.
like so if you take it with if you take it like that, then I think you kind of understand the way the universe works, and that's a very deep thought, and maybe that'd be another conversation,
We're
another.
seeing, yeah, we're part of the one electron universe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
but
exactly.
like, and if you know what they're finding out more and more that we live in a holographic universe, and so one kernel of sand has the whole universe in one kernel of sand. So everything kind of is interconnected and is the
Okay.
same throughout.
Okay.
So we are connected. We are all the same.
Okay.
And time and space is maybe even kind of an illusion. You
Okay.
know, so and this is like some of this is fringe science, and I know you like the fringe science stuff, but
Yes, I do.
in the spiritual world, we believe in it. Like that is they call it the Maya illusion, where
Okay. Okay.
where there's separation, but there is no separation.
Okay. So
So
what do you mean? There's separation but no separation. I'm sorry.
no, there's an illusion that there is separation, but there
Okay.
is
Okay. Okay. But
but
in reality, everything's connected. Okay. Okay. I see what you mean.
everything is connected.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and I think that's what religion might have played on for the longest, is trying to separate us from God
Okay.
instead of realizing that we are whatever you want to call it, God or universal energy, or
Yes. Yes.
we all collectively are universal energy. So, yes, we affect the whole universe, but yet at the same time, we're so minuscule compared to the whole how vast the universe is. So,
Okay.
yeah,
So that means that we are not saying insignificant, but we are significant. We are significant in our minuteness, in being
yeah,
infinitesimal in the
yeah.
whole scheme of things. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but even if you
Yeah.
look at it, even if you look at it deeper than that, space is even an illusion. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Okay.
Because all
Okay.
time and space exists at this moment here and now. So
Okay.
that's even really even further out there. But
Okay.
so it doesn't matter our size, because our size is infinitely big.
Okay.
But in the same sense, in the same time, it's infinitely nothing.
Okay. Okay.
It's
All right.
everything.
So
It's the
so
alpha.
speaking
It's the alpha and the omega.
so speaking of that, we're bringing it back, right? So we're saying that saying everything is nothing, but nothing is everything.
Yeah.
Um. So how should
It sounds like
how
that movie. I thought I couldn't watch it. It's so stupid.
which one? Which one?
The Michelle Yeoh movie. Do you see it? The
No, I've seen. I've seen.
everywhere, every place at every time, or something like that. I
No, no,
guess
no. I haven't seen. I haven't seen
it
it. I
won an
haven't seen it.
Academy. It won an Academy
Really?
Award, right?
So it wasn't that stupid, and I guess I don't. Or
I
let's say
watched
this:
it for 1 hour. I couldn't get into it. So
the judging bodies found that it wasn't so stupid, right? But so,
yeah.
like I was saying, getting back to what we were saying before. So, do you think that's this nothing and everything, like we said before, more or less, it seems like the theme of today is like not oxymorons, but this pseudo hypocrisy or pseudo contradiction. You know, so do you think that that's one of the ideals, is that this period of being together is what helps us understand that we're really alone. It's kind of like that slap in the face. Would you say that then?
I mean, if that's the way you want to look at it, we're really
Okay.
alone, or we're really together. I would say
Okay.
we're all really
Yeah,
together.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That like we're together, but we're like, I feel so lonely. But then that's the question. That's the ultimate question that we would be asking ourselves. Well, if you feel that you're alone, were you really together? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think once if you connect to like I said, like the small version of ourselves, you're
Okay.
always going to be feel alone, even if you have everything and you have
Okay.
everything. But if you connect with something bigger than just like your identity, your script, then
Okay.
you're never going to feel alone. You're always going to feel connected to everything.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why people have spiritual awakenings and stuff like
Okay.
that, and they catch the Holy Ghost and stuff like
Okay.
that, because like that burden of separation disappears.
Okay. Okay.
You have connection with everything.
But is that something that's everlasting once you arrive, once you reach it, or is it something that constantly must be nurtured,
I
and
think
and,
I thi- I think through meditation, or some people do prayer.
okay,
And meditation comes in many forms. That's the way you nurture that stuff, because
okay,
like we're still living a human existence in this
okay,
form of consciousness, in this form of
okay,
reality. So we are still constantly being programmed,
okay,
and do this, do that. We're on social media. Do this, do that. You're this, you're that. Da 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 da. So the, you know. but I think, but the stronger your foundation, your base becomes, then the more and more you disconnect from all that separation talk, and understand that we're all the same. But that's why some people, after a while, they can't live in the cities anymore. They start moving to the mountains and stuff like that, and
Yeah, we'll go back to the countryside. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
be engulfed in nature and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because they realize that the city is just, it just plays on people's individuality. It
So do
doesn't
you think we have to see? Do you think we
it
have to
doesn't
see?
it doesn't play on connectiveness.
Okay. So do you think we have to see the other side, the contract, the complete opposite, or the bottom in order to go back towards the top or appreciate the top? Is
I mean,
that
I think everybody has their own path. I don't know
okay?
when it's going.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
but when the more and more you do become, like aware, you see that it's, you see all sides.
Okay.
You be able to see all sides.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what would you say? What would you say to me if I encounter somebody who might be in a similar situation as me? They might have family, saying out of country, something like that, or they don't have any family at all, and they see me, and we're trying to, say, yeah, Happy Christmas, bro, Happy Merry Christmas, man, Happy Holidays, and we're playing that formality role. What would you say that how should I approach that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, I have energy to give people, with a smile on my face. That doesn't mean that, saying I'm at my happiest right now because, sometimes I do in this period feel a bit, saying not alone, but like I
Mhm.
said, reminiscent, nostalgic, and some
Mhm.
people don't even have that blessing, they're not even blessed enough to say,
Mhm.
I'm nostalgic, saying they might not have family, they might not have any family at the moment, say, let alone thousands of miles away, saying, how can I approach those people, because I know a few of those people.
How do you approach those people? I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, that's a tricky question. I mean, it's like, I think you said, I honestly just be real and honest with everybody. And I think every time you meet a person, you have a chance to help them out. I think that's, everybody wants to save the world, and do all these grandiose things, but saving the world and making the world a better place starts each interaction, each
Okay.
interaction
Okay.
with our planet,
Okay.
with the way we
Yeah.
are, how we are consuming things. Are we just mass consumers? Or we're not conscious consumers? The way we
Exactly.
consciously communicate with other people, and
Exactly.
and how we talk to them. That might be an opportunity for you just to uplift that person. I think I see so many
Exactly.
people that are like, they're the Mister or Mrs. Goody Two Shoes, and you see
Yeah.
them on Instagram. They do all this charity and stuff like that. They got all these outreach. They got the foundation and stuff, but they're mean to the person that busts their
Yeah.
table
Exactly.
at
Exactly.
dinner.
Exactly.
And so, like,
Exactly. But they do that. They do that for the publicity mostly.
it's
But
a,
no, in fact, that's what
that's
you were
that's
saying.
very, that's very impactful to that person.
Yeah.
If you be nice or not so nice to that person, because that
Exactly.
person works a job that maybe makes them feel a little bit inferior.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
No, in fact, like I was saying before, that's one of the things that I said that I actually like because, like you said before, that smile, like that, saying even if it is something small, because in the most minuscule ways, sometimes we can shift the currents. You know what I'm saying? And
mhm,
like I said before, that's one of the things that I like about this period, even though sometimes I find it as false. But one of the
mhm,
things I do like in this period that some people actually try
mhm,
to even wear the mask of of being of generosity, of happiness. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Of altruism, of philanthropy. So it might make someone's day by smiling, "Hello, happy holidays." Even if you're not really feeling it yourself, but that small thing might resonate with them in a different way. That, what I'm saying, and obviously, like we said before, because what I'm saying, the currency of emotion is definitely more diverse than the currency of money. So, like, if for example you took $1,000 from me, it's going to have a bigger impact if you took $1,000 from Mr. Musk. You know what I'm saying? Just like, for example, if I gave a smile to someone, that smile might have more weight for them to receive than it
mhm.
would be for me to give to them. So like you said before, I think that being able to I don't know, to convey non-negativity or convey to people that it's not as crap as it is. I know that you're
Mhm.
going through something very difficult, or even you might not be going through something difficult, but you probably will go through something difficult, or you probably have just got past something difficult. At this moment, I want to give you a smile to show you that all of the world is not um, in a shit place right now. Even if I might be deep down inside in a shit place, but and like I said, that plays off of what you said. Our interactions, our small interactions, have an effect on everyone. Everyone everyone we encounter can teach us something. Whether it's a smile on the street, if it's a hello, how are you doing today, sir? It can take saying it can take a person who's I don't know if anti-racist exists, but it can take a person saying to hearing how are you today, sir? Like wow, he called me sir, and he's
Mhm.
not saying I was a racist anti-racist. Well, I didn't know that they really some of those looked at me like that, as a normal person, and that kind of shifts perspectives. So, like you said, yeah, I agree with you, and that's what I was saying before. I think that this period is kind of false, but at the same time, I kind of not don't mind these false formalities, because I
Yeah.
prefer us to be falsely positive and giving than realistically egotistical and distant.
I would agree. I would agree with you wholeheartedly. I think we're no matter what, we're still on this human existence. We're creatures of habits and creatures of our habits. And
Okay,
so if we do nice things all the time, we just become that.
nice things. Yeah.
Even though it may start off as kind of like not from a genuine source, but
Uh-huh.
ultimately it kind of turns into something genuine. So
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we need to start creating those type of habits more in our society where we just be
Okay.
nice and polite and kind to people. But then eventually we can start also, I think we kind of lost that as a society for a while. I think it started with, I think it started with Obama coming into office, especially in the
Uh-huh.
United States, because that brought
Uh-huh.
up a lot of, like deep-seated racism people had, and Trump really just pulled it out of people. And so now
Okay.
we're in a state where everybody is just hating each other. Not a state that everybody's hating each other, but there's a lot of hatred going around.
Okay.
But I think just being kind and nice to people, even though if you fake it, it turns into a habit that's good. And and
Okay.
and, and
Yeah.
then
Definitely. Definitely.
and then I think the holiday season, it should be a time to even if you're not feeling, if one person not feeling 100%, it's a good time to practice that habit, just being kind and nice to people. So
Okay.
that's pretty much my take on it.
Yeah. Definitely. Every day. Every day. Yeah.
Yeah,
But then
but,
slowly the holidays become every day.
but I think ultimately the holidays is just every day should be a holiday. Every day should be
Exactly.
Christmas.
Exactly.